All right, I am live. I have got my guest here. I'm going to add him to stage. Aaron Clary,
Hello.
Gen X GGAF Cappy. What does that mean?
I'm a guest. We've known each other for over half our lives.
I'm a YouTube celebrity now.
Oh,
I have
are
two
we?
viewers,
Hey,
both of them.
can we give ourselves titles like Joe Biden gave herself a doctor title? Like I'm a doctor in podcasting. Oh, are you a
Why
doctorate
not?
in real estate investing?
I am
Oh my God, we're so educated.
educated. DGAF. What does that stand for?
Don't give a fuck.
Oh,
You've never seen that?
I've never seen that.
How old are you? You're like 2 years older than me. What are we going to
I know,
drop
but
you
I
off at
feel
the
like I'm
nursing
20
home?
years older.
My God, you
But you've been
post.
saying that for 30 years.
Let me explain. Let me explain something here, Waldorf. Okay, it's Waldorf and Statler. The audience didn't see it. Craig's like, "Hey, you want to come on the show?" I'm like, "Yeah." I said, "Tweet it out, and then I'll retweet it." He tweets the invite link, inviting the entire internet to come on the show. I'm like, "The YouTube link, you idiot."
You mean it's
You've
bad to
never
give out
seen?
my passwords?
Yes, especially to beautiful Russian women on the internet looking to meet you.
That almost never happens.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it means don't give a fuck.
Oh, that's good.
IDGAF, yeah.
Okay. See all this young stuff I'm learning. Hanging around young people.
Yes, young people. That's we got a topic today? Is there a show?
We have a topic
We have
today.
a
So
topic
I
today.
was working today and I had this little podcast going up and someone was ranting about this gray divorce epidemic.
Mm-hmm.
And you said some pretty alarming statistics. What did it double since 2000?
Well, see, and that's where we have to be accurate in what we say. The article said baby boomer divorce rates doubled since the 90s.
Since
Now,
the 90s.
what the journalist interpreted, so the journalist obviously saw some data. Some number must have doubled, and we could have a potential for misinterpretation on the part of the journalist, which surprise could be high.
Yep.
And then, well, how did the researchers who came up with that statistic? What did that actually mean? But we can say for sure that divorce among baby boomers did not slow down. It went up since the 90s, which to me is shocking because they were still partying like it was 1999 and getting divorced back then.
Okay. So then you and I have talked about this before. So you had divorces, you split the household. So one household now becomes two households, which is more demand on housing.
Right.
Yep.
And
simple math.
Right. And depending on whether you have kids or not, you ever see Divorced Dad?
No.
No? Oh, Craig, you'd love him. He's this pasty, kind of fat white dude with a ponytail, and he got divorced. And he has this card game called Divorced Dads, but it's like Pokemon. And the cards, instead of like Pikachu or Charizard, it's like untuned guitar, coffee pot doesn't work. What else? Oil change, and like all the things that divorced dads, have in their lives. And the guy kind of went viral, but it gets to that point where, okay, if you got kids and the little ones, and you're going to do the possession game or custody, I guess they call it, that's going to determine now you got two sizable houses because you have to house a parent plus the children.
Yep.
Although, at least when our fathers got divorced, damn it, back in the day, they go live in a shitty basement apartment. So, or you do the divorced dad thing, where you live in a 1-bedroom apartment or a condo or some kind of a small house, which then in either cases kind of pushes out younger people from those starter home type of markets.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's my investing strategy. You know that.
You did mention that explain that about divorced dads or divorcees, because it's not a bad strategy.
Okay, so you have find a good school district, right? So you got a good school district, you got a parent couple, they're getting divorced. They have to split households. They can't really afford two McMansions. They might be able to hang on to one. So one of them is going to end up in some sort of apartment. So there's these townhomes in these good school districts that are perfect, right? They're pretty basic to get into, to buy, to invest in. They allow rentals, and the demand is just, I never have a vacancy.
And the quality is pretty good too.
Yeah, I screen pretty good on those. That's easier to screen than actually my single family homes. Single family homes, I have a little harder time screening.
Is it because they got kids in there? Is it?
It's credit, and then the income to rent ratio is harder because they're more expensive. But these are like 2-bedroom, 2-bath townhomes, and 1,700-1,800 a month rent. It's like, yeah, most people can afford them. So it's just a waiting list for them. But that's all a result of splitting a household into 2 households.
So you are like an evil conservative. You are profiting off of the misery of others.
Excellent.
How dare you, sir? You evil capitalist pigs. Just where you should just give the rent for free to the single mother, Craig. Oh, wait, it's the dad.
It's the dad.
Oh, fuck him then. No, you're fine. Okay, yeah, charge him as much as that bastard.
Okay, so solid theory, right? So your video today intrigued me. I was listening while I was working on turning a rental over, but a couple questions I had on data. So I looked up some of this information to see if we
Okay,
can
so you got
trace
some
it.
research done?
Yep, and you're a data nerd, so you're going to help
am.
me interpret this.
Okay.
You are.
Yeah.
You don't think you're a data nerd?
No, I've agreed with you all the time. You know what's great? Let me tell you something about being a 50-year-old data nerd. Also, we start winning a lot. Like all the while, looking at the numbers. Like, yeah, okay, yeah. Now it's my time until we're dead, right? So I'm okay being a data nerd. But what do we got here? Lay it on me.
Okay, so what we have here is, they changed this, didn't they? Can I do this? Where'd you go?
You shared screen.
Yep.
See, here's the Boomer Celebrity Hour.
Yep.
You're gonna try and share a screen, huh?
Yeah. Can I do that?
Try and share a screen. Go present. Are you on StreamYard?
I'm on StreamYard, so I'm going to present. They changed the way this looks. So stop screen. Can I do that? Remove. Add to stage.
There we go. All right. Okay.
So you're there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So this chart is housing inventory estimate, total housing units in the United States.
All right.
Okay. Index of thousands of units. Okay.
All right.
So we're just going to see what happened here, 2008, and the units kind of drift off, right? So the inventory of housing units is actually decreasing.
Okay.
So now I go to the next one and share this tab instead. Okay.
I know this chart. Unemployment?
This one is new privately owned housing units completed.
Okay. I remember this one. This is throwing me back to my first book.
Yeah, because you would have been right in here watching
right
this.
about there, yeah.
Yep. That was behind the housing crash.
And this is new housing completed. Private housing starts?
Yep. Privately owned housing units completed.
Completed. Okay.
Yeah, I thought I pulled permits, but this one's not the permit one. So I'm my mistake. But
so
you
we
can
are
see
just getting back to average after, what is that, 15 years?
Yep. Since mid-90s.
Yeah. Thank God we have all these college graduated idiots and no carpentry. I'm glad you kids all majored in journalism. This is great. Wonderful. You guys wonder why there's no housing.
Yep. So this is contributing to the lack of housing, right? Because housing will burn down. It'll get deteriorated. Housing stock disappears over time.
Population grows.
Well, that too, right? Yeah. So those were just actual housing units, not vacant units. Okay, so then jumping over here to this one is, I don't know why this is so screwy, but you can still read it.
I can't, household something?
Household estimates. So these are your households.
So the number of households in the country.
Yep.
Okay.
So, and then this one, I don't quite understand. I'm going to make some guesses, and maybe you can too. Right after each recession, it seems to dip. It flatlined right after, So people they didn't get divorced because times were tough.
I don't know. I'd have to find out what the definition of a household is.
That's like number of people in a housing unit.
I thought this was the total number of household in terms of filing with the IRS. Like you file head of households. So they want basically how many families are out there. But you're right, the families don't drop during a recession. It may be what's that
The
first drop? Is
householder
that
refers
2000?
to the person who in whose name the housing unit is owned or rented. If there's no such person in any adult member. If the house is jointly owned, it's a married couple, either the husband or wife may be listed.
Okay, so what's happening? That's home ownership, or what that is when you see a recession hit and that drops a little bit, that's people moving back home with their parents or consolidating into a household, like getting roommates. So you
Roommates.
own the
Yep.
house, but your roommate, your buddy got laid off and he gets rid of his house and moves in with yours. So that's what's happening there.
Okay, so this big drop was the dot-com bust.
Mm-hmm.
And then this was the Great Recession.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that flat line there and didn't really come out to like 2014, 2013.
Mm-hmm.
And then household formations, this is a millennial started entering the market.
Yeah, that's about right. Yep. Yeah.
Okay, so that's pressure on housing. And then I ask Perplexity, why is there a big drop in households in the U.S. Census Bureau in 2002? They should shift in composition of households, decline in family households, increase in non-family, such as single-person households, cohabitating.
Yeah.
So this was interesting. By 2003, family households accounted for only 68% of all households, down from 81% in 1970.
Wow.
What does Rolo say? That's all the pill?
That's
that
what?
came up? Doesn't he say that that's the pill?
The pill came out in 65?
Or was it later 60s?
71 is when we went off the gold standard.
Okay.
Um,
But that's a what, 11% drop, 12% drop?
yeah, run those stats past me again as a percentage of total households.
Yep. By 2003, family households accounted
Family
for,
households. Okay.
Yep, so that's kids. Accounted for only 68% of all households, down from 81% in 1970.
That's because we don't have kids no more. There's more important things to pursue in life.
That's right.
Like handbags and master's degrees.
And Beamers.
And Beamers. Are Beamers still a thing out there in the Twin Cities? Like, oh my God, I got my Beamer. They are?
But Teslas aren't liked so much anymore.
Because television said so. Because screen said so.
Exactly.
Because no popular anymore.
It's magnetic for keys, apparently. Population aging contributed to increase in single-person households. Okay, that makes sense. Delays in marriage, childbearing, blah, 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 which we discussed. Okay, so this is what I wanted to get to. And did I?
It's still the same chart.
Yeah, okay. I have to say share this tab instead. Here we go.
Okay.
So now I took the blue line as housing inventory estimate.
Okay.
That's an estimated on all the housing units we have.
Okay.
And then the household estimates from April 2000 equals 100.
Look at you. You're like doing real economics work here.
I am, Craig. And someone taught me everything I know.
Wow.
Yeah, you were the housing nerd on this stuff. I mean, you taught me about the Fred database back in the 90s.
Oh, yeah, way back in the day. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's when I got all the girls because I knew how to use the Fred database. They were all like, oh my God, can I take you out? So it looks like it's starting to close in there towards the end.
So that means more competition per house unit, correct?
Yes. So we're basically looking literally a graph of supply versus demand.
Exactly.
And if we go back to that, just so people know, when you look at the Fred database, these gray areas, those are recessions. So you can analyze it. But notice how much excess supply there was over demand in the housing bubble, and then it slowly closed, but slowly but surely closed, and now it's starting to get really tight.
Yep,
very tight indeed.
So supply and demand will tell you as that line gets closer, prices will increase.
Mm-hmm. That is correct. But for who? Are you there, Craig?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm perplexed by the question.
Well,
For the
This is
buyer,
you have for the buy, right? But here's what's hilarious. I find this housing market fascinating, although it's kind of boring. Are young people really in this housing market?
it's interesting. The young men don't seem to be. The young women are.
Hmm. But generally, what what we have right now is interest rates have gone up.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of young people are priced out because they simply can't afford the payment. Sure, you scrape and save and get in a condo in some, but generally speaking, young people are pushed out of the market.
No, the average age of a buyer is like 40 now, or 38 or something.
Isn't it a little older?
It might be.
Like this isn't 25, 26-year-olds going to get in their first house.
No, they're priced out.
Right.
What is
And
the average age of a home buyer in the U.S.?
and there was another article that recently came out that the baby boom
56.
56. Okay.
Yep.
There's an article that I did another video on, I think a day or two ago, where it talked about how the largest generational group of home buyers is now once again baby boomers.
Yep.
And basically it's because the interest rates are too high. The baby boomers have houses that they're likely selling anyway or paying cash or have a significant equity position in that they can afford these higher prices. And
Mhm.
so, unfortunately, a lot of young people are pushed out of this market. And then we throw in the gray divorce on top of it. And okay, it's one thing like you're 35 and you get divorced, right? As you're ordered to in the United States, right? You have to by law get divorced no later than 35. So then you go do the divorced dad route where you get some kind of townhome or something small. I'm wondering, what do these baby boomers buy when they get divorced? They're not going slumming in some basement apartment, I can't imagine.
I'm working with one right now. Whoops, I didn't want to do that. So, uh, it's a great divorce situation, and they were renting one of the townhomes,
Mhm.
and now they're splitting in. She's going to end up buying something.
Okay.
Yep. So, yeah, they're taking that starter home, that lower expense house
And
in nice areas.
and even if they buy or rent, does it matter to a young person?
No, it's still absorbing the housing units.
You're you're either driving up rents or driving up housing costs, either because you're buying or you're renting. And it's just, yeah, it's the classic. I talked about how a lot of women don't want to get married and have kids until they're about 47. And so they go, like you're saying, a lot of what was the number one? You're saying you've seen a lot of young women buying their houses.
Yep.
It's the same thing. In the olden days, if you were 30, you had a man and a wife typically living in a house by that time.
Mm-hmm.
By 30, you have two separate houses still, which also then further consumes the housing market. So that household formation would be really great. I don't know if they got it, but would be really great is to see what is the composite over time of household formation between single men, single women, married couples, and divorced couples. I don't think the data exists in that detail, but it would
Yep.
be very interesting to see because I guarantee you married couples are just being pushed out because, well, maybe not pushed out, they're not getting married. And so then maybe the baby boomers, as of recent, especially when the interest rates have increased, are starting to push everyone out as well, which is according to that article that I found is kind of what's happening. But I haven't seen the data in a chart that, very nicely.
Yeah. And it gets back to the bottom line is you have doomers out there on X that keep saying there's no housing shortage, right? There is obviously a housing shortage.
Mm.
And it may be because, well, they'll compare this to population versus households, which doesn't take in comparison for households, splitting up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Yeah. So from their chart, it says, oh, there's the most housing units there's ever been
Mm.
for population, but not for households.
Right.
Because of what you were saying, it's everyone's getting divorced and it's taking up two houses per what used to be one.
Right. And I would say it's also a higher end. Because do you remember when you lived in the house in Waizese that had the toilet that was sunk into the
Yes.
yeah, do
Listed.
you remember
Yep.
that?
Yep.
Remember that? Do you remember like living with your buddies and roommates and all that?
I didn't have roommates.
Okay, well you were the wealthy guy with the crooked toilet and the sinking floor.
Can I really make millennials mad right now.
Go ahead, please do.
I paid $47,000 for my first house.
Did you earn that money on your paper route?
I had a business. I did construction cleanup and window cleaning.
Mm.
Yep.
I'd imagine 47 though. You had to fix that up a bit.
Yeah, I gutted it down to the frame and rebuilt it. Yeah,
Okay.
rewired it. Yeah.
What? Okay, more fairly to our millennial brothers and sisters, what did you have all into that house by the time it was done?
Probably 65,000.
That was it. 25 grand extra.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's not bad then. Yeah, that
No.
they're going to be very pissed off about that.
Yep.
Anyway, but what I was going to say is, back when we were young, if we got laid off, we go find somebody's couch to crash on, toss them a couple $100. Boomers getting divorced, they're not going to go crash on someone's couch. They're going to consume a legitimate unit of housing.
They're going to push a millennial out of their house.
They're going to push them. They're going to come up there with their walker and just, man, get out of here. It's mine. With their tennis balls on their walker. That's what they're going to do. And
that's what our job market was like.
Oh, God. Don't. I don't want
you just hit a sore spot there, didn't you?
Yeah, I don't want you to lose your channel. I've some of my banker bosses are dead now because of old age and being fat, but man, there's some that are still alive where I'm like, whoo, yeah. But yes, we may have some alignment with the millennials in their disagreement with the boomer generation.
Yeah, we were the first wave through.
Yeah.
So, no, I thought it was a good post that you did. I'm calling it a post. What do you call videos?
Videos. Videos. That's what we call them, old man. We call them videos.
You don't have some sort of like 4-letter acronym?
No, we don't. No, I'm not that young. We call them talkies here. If I could convince you to call them the talkies. Oh my God.
Okay, your talkie today was really good. I'm like, I have charts on this.
Dude, you know what's sad? Remember how I was like a chart fanatic?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'd be working in bank and I just have all the data. I could find charts left and right. I could find that data if I wanted to. A composition of households, like over time, colored charts. I could find that data. You know what? No one pays me to do it, so I'm not doing it. And also by this time, we can speculate. We know what's happening. And did I ever convince a single person with one of my charts?
No.
So I'm kind of done spending my time looking at databases and collating data and showing undeniable proof this is what's happening because no one listens to it anyway. Now I'm just a grumpy old man who yells at the internet through my talkies.
Yeah, who said the boomers are the ones that get angry when they lose their password? Yell at the computer when they lose their password?
I don't know.
Wasn't that on your show?
It wasn't my show.
Okay.
I
just laughed today because I just got I clicked on one of those phishing emails.
Oh, you did?
Reset all my passwords. It's like,
oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, it's too bad.
And it's a good thing I'm not in the Oval Office because I might have hit the launch button and said this probably came from North Korea.
Right. It probably did. Yeah. Oh. What was that? Right. That's all
I got one more. You want to look at this chart again?
Yeah, sure. I'll look. I like charts.
Okay. So you and I have looked at this before. And this is real median household income is the blue line.
The what line?
The blue line.
The blue line. Household income. Okay.
That hasn't moved. It's just flatlined.
Yes. And
the green line is M2 money supply.
Okay.
And the red line is house prices.
CoreLogic. Look at that. Would you look at that?
Huh. Is there a relationship?
Maybe. You know what we need to do, Craig? We need to print off more money to make it more affordable for people to buy housing and education. That will lower prices.
Isn't that what we've done exactly the last 3 times?
But yes, but because we've done it 17 times before, they won't expect it an 18th time.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
That show just keeps giving. But
surprise. You know what's sad is wages should have gone up with that inflation. But, geez, we doubled our money supply and let a bunch of immigrants come in, which I'm kind of okay with if they're skilled and talented. But now you just flooded the housing market with a bunch of people. And now I can't afford. That line could have gone up. It could have gone up but
Yep.
we just got to make everybody come on in here, gang.
Yeah. Well, the tariffs might bring manufacturing back, so we might see that blue line move in a few years.
Over a long enough period of time, yeah, we got to build up. We got to make up for a quarter century of way too many college graduates and not enough workers or manufacturers. And so that is going to take a long time, at least 5 years before we start seeing.
Yep.
Yeah, before we start seeing manufacturing facilities and factories going up, and we're actually producing our own stuff. It's also going to require government policies. Like, yeah, this is our policy for 10 years, because investors aren't going to set up a factory if on year 5 they finish, and then year 6 we're like, oh, we're changing our policies back to trade again. And so we'll see. I have absolutely no faith in the government whatsoever. Despite Trump being there, I have no faith that people are going to do the right thing. So,
yeah,
I would learn to be your own carpenter. I think that you could build your own house.
absolutely.
Craig, you own some houses, right?
Yeah, I've got a few.
Okay. And did you amass? You have a legitimate portfolio of property, like legit.
Mm-hmm.
Would you have been able to do that with a college degree, or was it your carpentry skills that allowed you to amass your portfolio property?
It's my carpentry skills that let me get in, make the repairs, and keep the numbers to where I can perform where other people can't.
Yeah, it was you. You're happy you dodged the college bullet, right?
Yes.
Wasn't everyone telling you were nobody because you weren't going to college in the late 80s? I was
going to be a failure. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't amount to anything without college. Yeah, I've heard that a few times.
I think you should give up 80% of your properties so you can help out a bunch of young millennial and Zoomer aspiring property owners, because that would be the right and the good Minnesota thing to do.
That's not going to happen.
I would burn my houses down.
Do you remember going? Yeah, I was just going to say, going Galt, they burned the industries down and then disappeared.
Yep.
That's what it would be like.
Yep. You can go ahead and do that. But I do say for the younger people, I don't think there's a better time to become a carpenter right now. Because any
of the trades, there is a waiting list for competent people. And there's just not competent people there.
Right. And I cannot emphasize that enough. Why do you do all your own carpentry work, Craig?
Because I can't afford to pay these incompetent people to do the job 4 times.
Can a college graduate like me look up something on YouTube and probably do a better job?
Yes.
Yes. And it is wide open. It is wide open for young people to go and learn a trade. And I know you got to do the job right, but would you say punctuality and craftsmanship and quality would probably separate them very quickly from their 45-year-old counterparts?
Oh, dear God, yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Will we get the girls then if we become carpenters? No, you will not.
But you can charge them a lot of money to do the work on the houses they're buying.
I had someone in my comments section, he's a plumber, and like legit girls are calling up because their condo and their toilet is flooded because they flushed down their feminine products. Like, it's 2025 and people don't know this.
Yep.
And you know what he charges to unclog a toilet?
I don't know. I've got the equipment myself, but I'm going to guess he's probably like $350.
$300 a visit. Yep. Minimum.
Yeah. And that's under an hour job.
Yep. But he doesn't have a college degree, so he's worthless. He's
printing money.
He's his own money machine. He's his own. I think everyone should become podcast influencers. That's the job to go to. I think
that's the hardest. There's so much competition out there.
Not when you start in the year 2003 with a blog.
Yeah, you've been doing this for a long time.
Long time. Yeah.
So we have a few people that posted in here. Can you see these comments?
Let me go to the comments. Now, are you monetized? How many subscribers do you have?
I am not monetized. I have both subscribers.
Okay. You have both subscribers. Okay. How many subscribers do you have?
I don't know.
Everyone tuning in, if you could subscribe to my friend Craig's channel and get him monetized to see, I would like to see Craig get his first super chat and see like, whoa, people give me money? What's going on?
What do I got? 353.
How do you only have 353? I promoted you several times.
I don't know.
All right, everyone, please subscribe to him. Let's do that. Then you could get monetized and you could get a super
Okay,
chat.
now I'm a laughing stock because I closed out a window. I hear you talking and I can't find the window.
Well, I'm still here. I could see it. Can
There
you
we
hear
go.
me?
Yeah. I got
Okay.
1,000 windows open. Here we go. Found you again.
All right. Let's go to you're going to have to click on the comments that you want me to read because I don't have control. So you have to click on
Okay.
them to show them up on the screen.
Grub Warp. Come on, baby. Light my fire.
Well,
All
click
right.
on it. See, now it shows up below.
This technology
Look
stuff is fascinating.
I'm going to get you rich, man. You're going to have 1 million subscribers. You're going to put all those girls with the cleavage to shame.
All right. So Robert S.
He writes, current picture of the housing market in rural Oklahoma. Dad of a co-worker sold his house recently in a town of 12,000 population, 2,200 square foot, 2018 construction. He bought new in 2018 for 145, sold for 205. That's inflation.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't even think there's a real gain there. I think that's just inflation.
That's the M2 money supply.
That's the M2 money supply. Remember when everyone got free checks for 18 months? And that was great.
Fantastic.
But we didn't reelect the guy that gave it to it. We reelected a vegetable. And now we're confused why prices are high. Remember when we literally increased the money supply 6-fold in like 2 years? Now we're confused why rent and housing is so expensive. Do you know how tired I am of stupid people?
I shop, I don't buy. So I'll go on like Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist and I'll look at stuff like used snowmobiles and whatever, the toys I want, but never really buy. And I price them. And during that COVID period, when all the checks went out, the prices were sky high.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, the prices are back down to where they were
Are they? Good.
Yeah.
Good. Well, maybe you could move out to South Dakota or a tax-free state.
Yeah, I'll talk to you about the Dakotas here.
Okay.
I'm getting closer.
Okay. Robert S. 4 months are the market, and realtors said it would sell for 235, but had to drop down to get it to sell. So there's a little weakness maybe this year.
The high rates were really slowed things down. We are in depression level housing sales. We're actually lower sales than we were during a lot of the GFC.
So the volume is very low.
Yep.
Let me take a
But
look.
the inventory is so low that the prices haven't really dropped.
Right. No, it's kind of the worst of both worlds.
Yep.
I'm looking at mortgage rates. Whoa. 6 point the 15 is 5.8 and the 30 year is 6.6. So it's come down a little bit.
It's 6% where I was at on Friday. I didn't see today's rates. And I have a client that got 5.75 for purchase.
Okay.
Owner occ. So yeah, they're right around 6. They might have nudged up a little bit. I don't know what happened today. So
okay.
But apparently there's some fear in the stock market today.
What happened is I bought a bunch of S&P 500 index. What is I'll just look Dow Jones Industrial Average. What happened? It's down 1%. So maybe the bloodbath is over for now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, it got a lot of media attention anyhow.
Yeah.
Okay, so Robert S.
Family with 2 kids bought it. Parents both work, and even with 10% down was still 9.2%. They must have gone, what, private financer?
No, I'm going to guess they had some dings on their credit.
Oh, okay. You know whose problem that is? It's the family's problem. It's their problem. It's not my problem. No, you got 9 Well, no, it's just I'm taking a very anti-human misanthropist type of approach.
That's a $5 word.
Yeah, I should be an author sometime.
Misanthrop. I can't even say it.
Misanthropist. That's what you and I are. It's just I know how to pronounce it and you don't. That's
misanthropist. I didn't go to college.
See, if you spend $75,000 in 4 years of your youth, you'd be able to pronounce misanthropist.
Misanthropist. Yep. So anyhow, We are a local lender. Okay, so maybe a local commercial bank, but there's got to be some hair on that credit or on the income to price that for higher risk.
Right.
So, all right. Well, that's what we got. Thanks for jumping on and analyzing this stuff with you.
No problem. This is so weird. You're not having super chats at the end of this. We need to get you up to like 1,000 subscribers. How often are you podcasting? Like, how often do you put out a video?
I was very good at it for a while. Then I drifted off for 3 weeks as I was scrambling to get a couple of units in, and I'd just get home exhausted and didn't post.
Yeah.
So I went about.
Let me
3
ask
weeks
you
without
this.
posting.
Since the last time you told me this was the last house you were going to get, how many houses did you get?
3 or 4.
3 or 4. Okay, just
Yep.
This is the last house.
There's a 12-step program in there
there's
for
a
me
12-step
somewhere.
program. Sure. Okay, it's well, for everyone tuning in, please subscribe to Craig's channel. For my channel, I'd appreciate it if you would. Thanks for having me on, Craig.
Thanks for coming on. This has been fun. It's like old times.
Yeah.
Except people are actually watching these charts and
yeah, but at least we ain't got no girls. We still ain't got no girls here.
We never did.
We never did.
All right. Have a good one. Signing off.